So good morning everybody and welcome back to our big data training program. So today we are going to start, today we are going to understand how to install Eclipse and IntelliJ in our Ubuntu system and how do we configure Hadoop plugins to it. Okay. So now what we will do is, I assume that you have already installed Hadoop on your Ubuntu, right? So what we have done is we have taken the recent version of it. So let me explain you what are the versions we have already installed. So we have installed a VMware, okay, let's say 16. We have installed Ubuntu, say 20.04, that's the latest one. We have installed Java 11 on it, okay, and we have installed Hadoop 3.3.0, right? So this is what we have done so far, and the same steps, the installation document, whatever we have seen, right, will work tomorrow if Ubuntu 21 comes, if we have a support for Java 12, and if Hadoop 3.5 comes or Hadoop 4 comes, right? So the concept would remain same, the steps would remain same. But now what we will do is we are done with this setup altogether, right? Now, as a programmer, when you go and develop some code, when you write some code, you need to have some IDE. Okay, so the most two popular IDEs which we use is Eclipse and IntelliJ. Okay, so what we will do is we will start we will install both of them first, Eclipse and IntelliJ. We will install both of them, and then we will start doing a lot of things with Eclipse. And I'll also tell you how to do all those things in IntelliJ also. Now, once we get habituated with, initially we'll do everything with Eclipse. Then slowly, after a few days, we will start using IntelliJ, and then you continue our IntelliJ. Let's move on. So now I have shared my screen, okay? And what we have done is we have our Ubuntu here, okay? Ubuntu 20, wherein we have our SD user, password is Hadoop. Okay, let me go to SD user. Okay, so we are in our Ubuntu, right? And what we need to do now is we would install Eclipse and IntelliJ, right? So I'll go back to my Windows. Okay, let me open a browser. This browser you can open from your Ubuntu as well. Okay, there is no problem at all. So what you do is Eclipse download, right? So I want to download Eclipse first. Eclipse download. Okay, so you just have to follow this video and do the steps exactly. All right, now you clicked on eclipse.org downloads, right? And here if you see, you can see get Eclipse ID 202012, install your favorite ID and all, right? So let me give it a try on this. I'll say download 𝗀𝗚𝐴66_64, okay? And where does it take you? It takes you somewhere here, right? It takes you somewhere here wherein it allows you to directly download exe file, okay, wherein it allows you to directly download exe file. That is what we are not looking for, right? Because we are looking for non-exe file. Exe file cannot be executed in Linux. So let me click on this download package, right? So we came here. Don't go to this download 𝗀𝗚𝐴66_64, just click on download package. Okay, when you do so, it will take you here. Okay, see, these are the two different things, right? So it will take you here. Now from here, which one to choose? Okay, so you can choose Eclipse ID for enterprise Java developers. You can choose this, or you can also choose this. Choice is yours. Anything will work. Okay, so what I've done is I have chosen this one. Okay, I have chosen this one. So Linux 𝗀𝗚𝗚𝐴66_64. Click on it. Okay, so it will take you here, right? Now see, this is basically tar.gz, and this was basically exe file. We don't need this exe file, we need this tar.gz. Now click on it, okay, and it will start downloading, right? So it will start downloading. So give it some time because it's a 500 MB file. So after some time it will be all good. So I'll just cancel this because I have already downloaded it for myself. Done. This is how you will download your Eclipse. Okay, Now, next thing what we will do is let's also download IntelliJ, right? So I'll say IntelliJ download. IntelliJ download. Okay. Now let's move on. So click on this. Okay. Now from here, if you see, by default it is showing you exe because my OS right now is Windows, right? So, and it comes with two versions, ultimate version and community version. Community version is free, ultimate version is not free. We are okay to use the free version. Okay, there is no harm. So we would like to download the Linux version. So go to Linux. Okay, here also ultimate and community, and just click on download, right? So just click on download of community version. Okay, now this will also start getting downloaded 2020.3.tar.gz. Okay, so I assume that you follow this process and get those things downloaded in your machine. Okay, once it is downloaded, what I've done is I've copied it here. Okay, I've copied it here, and this is the same version whatever we have downloaded so far. Done. Now the next thing is copy these two downloaded files, right? They are basically a zip file. Copy these files into your into your Ubuntu. Okay, so what I'll do is I will not keep it here on the desktop. Once you are inside your Ubuntu, let's go to your home. This is my home folder. Okay, this is my home folder, and let me say paste. Right, so this will take little time, and this will get copied into your machine. I've just said Control-C and Control-V, and this is what we are doing right now. Done. Okay, so once this is done, now the next thing what we would like to do is extract these files. Okay, these are zip files, so just extract it. How do we extract it? Right click. Let's do one by one. Eclipse first, right click and say extract here. Okay, click on it. Done. Now similarly, right click IntelliJ and say extract here. All right, so once they are extracted, you can delete these two files. Okay, you can happily delete these two files because the extraction is complete. All right, done. Now once you have extracted this, what you can do, go inside this Eclipse. Okay, you will see there is a folder called Eclipse. So what I want to do is I would say Control X, cut. Okay, I come back and paste it here. Right, so what I did is inside this there was a folder. Inside this Eclipse JE 202012R and all, inside there was a folder called Eclipse. I just moved it here itself. So this folder is now empty, is not it? So I can happily delete this. Okay, now similarly let me check this IntelliJ. Okay, here also I can see this inside there is a folder. So what I can do is I can rename it to IntelliJ. Okay, and I can say Control X and just say paste here. Done. Right, so at the end of the day we have Eclipse and IntelliJ, and you can keep it anywhere. Okay, you can create a folder. In fact, you get a software and then keep them inside that. That is also fine. That's absolutely okay. All right, so this is how you will extract your IntelliJ and Eclipse, right? And then your setup is now ready. Now let's go to Eclipse and we will launch our Eclipse first. Okay, so in this Eclipse, if you see, there is something called Eclipse. There is something called Eclipse. Just double click on it. All right, now it will say, hey, choose your workspace, which means choose a directory where you want to save all your projects, right? So you can just go ahead with the default. That's absolutely fine. Okay, /home SD user Eclipse workspace. That's absolutely okay, and you can say launch. Okay, so now, yeah, so now this is what we have right now, right? So this is the beginning home screen of your Eclipse. Okay, so welcome. You can just say close. It is closed. So once you are done with that, you will get this screen, and from here you can create different kind of projects. Okay, but still that's okay. If you don't follow these steps, that's absolutely okay. The very first thing what you should do once your Eclipse is set up, right? Once you are able to launch your Eclipse, is try to check if you are able to run a simple hello world example, right? So let's do that. So I'll go to file and I'll say new. Okay, I'll go to file, I'll say new, and I'll say Java project. See here if you can see any Java project. No, that's okay. Click on this project. Okay, and here you can see a Java project, a simple Java project. Say next. Okay, and project name you can give any name, like I can say hello world, any name, and choose the Java environment, right? Say finish. Okay, and module name you can say don't create module name, that's absolutely fine, and you can say open perspectives. All right, so this has created a project called hello world. It's a Java project. Okay, and you will just see this source and your GRE library, right? So it's saying it is pointing to JDK 15, and by default it comes with their own JDK as well, right? So if you want to change it, you can again go back and change it from here. You can say properties. Okay, and you go to Java compiler, right? And it is actually configured to 15. Now you can just go back and say I want to go with JDK 15, sorry 11, right? And say apply and say yes, and say apply and close. This also can be done, right? If you feel you want to stick to JDK 11 and not 15, that also can be done. Okay, now once you have this project ready, okay, once you have this project ready, let's try to create a simple class, right? And I'll say package name, let's say in.olc, and name I would say hello world demo, right? And say finished. And you can also generate the public static void main automatically and say finished, right? So when you do that, it will create a file hello world demo.java, wherein you can write something, right? So now you have got one Java file, wherein you can write your code, right? So if you want to change the font, that is also possible. Go to Windows and go to preferences. Okay, and here you say font. Okay, here you say font, then you will get general appearance, colors and font. Click on it, and it should be there under the basics. Yeah, so it should be here. Okay, basic text font, right? So go to basics and go to text font, and then you can just say edit. Okay, and you can now increase this 10 to whatever you like. Okay, let me keep it 15. Okay, so let me keep it 15 and say select, and just say apply, and say apply and close. Okay, so this is how you will be able to change your font, and if you see now it has increased to 15, right? Okay, now let's go back and say hello world. Sysout and control and space will give you system.out.println, and here you just write hello world, save it. Okay, save it, and then right click and run as Java application. Okay, so it has given you hello world. That means your Eclipse is successfully installed, and you are now ready to execute your very first hello world example. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. Now once this is done, let's go back to IntelliJ now. Okay, so let's go back to IntelliJ, and here you will not get that icon to double click. So what you have to do is you need to go to bin. Okay, and in this bin there is something called idea.sh. This is a shell script file which you need to execute if you want to invoke your IntelliJ. Okay, so the steps would be just right click on this, and say open in terminal. Okay, so what does it do? It launches a terminal wherein the present working directory is bin, right? So I'm already inside bin. If you look into this terminal, I'm already inside this bin. Now if I say ls, you will be able to see idea.sh, right? You need to execute this file. So how do you execute? It's very simple. You will say sh.idea.sh. Okay, now wait for some time and let this launch. Okay, now the very first time I'll say I want to create a new project. All right, so it says project SDK is 11. That's okay. Now Java project, say next, and say next, and I'll say hello world. So this will create a project called hello world. Okay, and then I'll say finished. Okay, now this will open this window. Okay, and if you are here, that means you have created one project. So see, here you have a project bar. Click on this project bar. Okay, and you will see hello world here. Right now, again we will do the same thing. We'll open this. Here you have a source file, source folder. Right, by default you don't have anything. Let's go and create one new Java class, and I'll say I want to create a class. Okay, what would be the name? Say hello world. Okay, I want to create a class called hello world. Right, so we got public class hello world. Again, let's change the font of it. So I'll go to file, go to settings. Okay, now here I'll just say font, and you should go to editor and font. Right, so you should go to editor and font. Okay, size let me say 25. Apply and say okay. Right, so this font has increased now. Right, so this is how you will be increasing the font. Now main method, so main. Okay, hit enter, not enter, control and space, enter. Okay, now this gives you public static void main. So the way is different. The way you generate a main method in your Eclipse, the way you generate your main method in IntelliJ are different. Right, so now you'll say south, control space, enter. Okay, here you will say south, and now you will say hello world. Right, save, right click and say run. Let me make it more bigger. This is executing, and it has given us the output hello world. Okay, so this completes your IntelliJ setup also. That means we are able to run a simple hello world program in Eclipse as well as in IntelliJ, which means our setup is all good and ready. Okay, now let's move to the next. Now what we will do is, since this is your IntelliJ, it has a lot more options. The first thing is, let me change the shortcut to Eclipse. Okay, so I'll go to file and I'll go to settings, and here I'll say key map. Okay, or you'll see this key map here itself. See, it is a small thing, right? So you'll see the key map here. Go to your key map, and here by default it will not be Eclipse because I had already done the setup to test the changes. You are able to see this, right? So by default, you will not see Eclipse. By default, you may see something else, maybe Gino, maybe. Okay, so what you do is change it to Eclipse and say apply and say okay. And if you do so, after that what happens is, whatever shortcut you used to use in Eclipse will work as it is in your IntelliJ, so that you don't have to learn a shortcut for this in Eclipse and shortcut for this in IntelliJ. If you know one shortcut, that would be all good and fine. Okay, next thing is, now I don't want to go back to IntelliJ every time. Okay, and say sh./sh. Yeah, I want something that can be clickable. So for that, there is a approach. Go to tools and say create a desktop entry. Okay, click on it and say okay. All right, so it has created a desktop entry, which means now you don't have to really go to the command and start launching it. So let me close this right now. I'll say exit. Okay, so it's done, and I will see I'm closing my terminal. Okay, because I don't need them, because I've already created a desktop entry. Now what you can do is go to this place, show applications. Here, show applications, click on it. Okay, and here you just say IntelliJ. You're able to see something over here. It's not it because of these desktop entries. So you are now getting this here. What you can do is right click on it and say add to favorite. Okay. Now that has been added here. Okay. So now once once you're done, now when you reboot your system, you'll always see your IntelliJ over here. Okay. You click on it, it launches your IntelliJ, and then you can start working on it. Okay, so that's what you have to take care of. So I've already mentioned those in this installation document. Okay, so whatever I'm telling you right now, they're all present in this installation document. Just have a look on it and you will see, okay, I have specified all the concepts here, and you can use it for your reference. Okay, so we will use initially Eclipse. We'll do a lot of things with Eclipse, but then gradually over the period of time, we will switch to IntelliJ, so that at the end of the course, you should have idea to play around with both of them, right? Because you don't know what are you going to use in your company. People may be comfortable with Eclipse, people may be comfortable with IntelliJ. I feel IntelliJ is quite better, and that it is quite advanced. You will realize that as we move on with the course. I will show you what IntelliJ does by default, what Eclipse cannot do, by default, and then you will realize that yes, IntelliJ is really better. But for the from the training point of view, we will learn both of them so that you know both how to work on both this, right? So these are all the things whatever I have written, right? So whatever I'm teaching you, they are all present here, right? Okay, and then you can just follow the video and then this document, and it should be all good. All right.